This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus and another old gamer rant for you guys. So, a few days ago we had the Call of Duty reveal trailer of gameplay, which is kind of funny because I don't think they showed as much gameplay as they could have, but they did show gameplay, so it counts. It was single player, of course, because that's what they do. They're not going to show you the multiplayer until usually it's sometime in the summer, I want to say, unless they're going to change, because they kind of changed things. It used to be the gameplay used to be world premiere on TV during NBA round blah blah blah, and it actually didn't normally come until like May, but now they're kind of jumping in front of things. They're putting it out there on the internet, not tying it to any specific events. They're just throwing it out there for you guys to see pretty early. And now with that reveal, they announced that if you pre-order the game, you can get access to a beta, which is a new thing for Call of Duty. Maybe I'll get into that in another video, but briefly, please don't buy into the bullshit. I don't think the beta is going to be that serious, people. I actually think they're going to pull an okie doke on the people who are into that game. But anyway, so seeing the trailer, of course, I made my comments on the podcast, and I meant to do this a few days ago, but I made my comments on the Team Green podcast that, hey, it's Deus Ex, and I still stand by that. I tweeted that out too. They pretty much ripped the premise of Deus Ex and infused it into a Call of Duty game. Nothing like seriously wrong with that. I just found it amusing that that's where they went with it. The whole, cybernetic human beings now that are just straight up soldiers, cybernetic soldiers on the battlefield. But it's like, okay, that's where they're going. Still with the future tech stuff, and I knew the reaction was going to be very, very bad because people have been upset about Call of Duty going to that tech world for a while now. And this one was no different. People just exploded. They're just like, oh my god, the series is ruined, blah, 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 blah. And I find that reaction funny because, one, it's the typical reaction to the Call of Duty crowd. Because they always say, oh my god, Call of Duty, they're ruining it. They're fucking up the game. I can't stand this. Damn you, Activision. Whatever, the studio is doing it. This year's Treyarch, so damn you, Treyarch. Whatever. And then everybody goes out, and the game outsells everything that comes out in the year. And everybody who complained buys it. They play it. Then they complain. They stop playing it. And we start the cycle again. Now, during the podcast, people were saying how they felt like Call of Duty was over. Mostly people in the chat. And I was of the mind that no, Call of Duty's not over. And the reason I say it's not over is because, again, I just stated, I guess, why it's not over. Every year you get the same cycle, you get the same reaction, but the game sells well. It's still $1 billion a year franchise. They may not make a straight $1 billion on the game alone, but with the combination of the game, the DLC, and all of these tournaments that MOG and other people host, this game generates a huge amount of money. Just speaking from the game by itself, it still sells better than anything else out there. There's no better selling franchise. Closest to that would probably be the Halo franchise. Halo can't compare in volume, I think, to this. I think Halo's done very, very well, but I still think that Call of Duty outsells it by a couple of million a year when you average it out, if not 4 million a year, because the reality is that you can't say that a game is over just because you don't like it. And that's the reason why people are continuing saying Call of Duty is over, it's done, it's finished. It's not done, it's not finished. Because if it were done and finished last year, Advanced Warfare wouldn't have been the best-selling game of 2014. Worse yet, the 10th best game, and I'm going to try to remember to put the link in the description, but you guys can look it up yourself. But the MPD sales showed that the 10th best-selling game in all of 2014 was Call of Duty Ghosts. Let me say that again. 10th best-selling game in 2014 was the 2013 released Call of Duty Ghosts, a game that I think a lot of people had much more hatred, at least from what I could see the reactions were towards that game, than they did towards Advanced Warfare. Yet that game was the 10th best-selling game. And please don't say that there wasn't anything out there. There were games out there to buy. There should have been at least one game out there, at least if not like 4 or 5, that were able to outsell a game that came out the previous year. But the reality is, Call of Duty is still popular. Look at all of the older Call of Duties. Those things don't necessarily go on sale. They'll sell for like $60 for a long time. They'll drop it to around $40 or $50 for a long time. Hell, I think if you look up not Advanced Warfare, but Modern Warfare 2, you're probably still going to pay a good $30, $40 for that game at most retailers. Why? Because it's still a popular game. All of them. And the thing that's crazier, by the way, about those sales is that when they broke down the sales numbers, the Xbox 360 version of Advanced Warfare and Ghosts were the highest selling versions of those franchises, followed by PS4 and Xbox One. They flip-flopped, I think, on both of them, but those were the 3 top selling platforms for that game. The 360, the older generation, still outsold everything. That should tell you something, people. Call of Duty is still over. It may not, it's not over in the sense that you guys are talking about, meaning that the franchise is done, but it's over in the sense that people are still into it. So no, this franchise is, they may not be selling as much as they used to, but they're still consistently selling enough to generate $1 billion a year. And until that stops, there's no reason to even think about saying that Call of Duty is done. And this leads me to the end of this commentary, which is the bulk of the point of why I'm saying this, is that we need to stop trying to determine when games are done off of how we feel about the game. And that's how we normally do. Just because you feel like it's over because it's over for you doesn't mean it's necessarily over, because there's still people out there to play. Hey, I play a game that a lot of people thought, quote unquote, died early on because not a lot of people talked about it, I guess, on Twitter or whatnot. But Destiny still generates a high volume of people online. There's still people out there putting out bad content on the game. There's people who are successful on YouTube and whatnot, and take away. And that's the thing. I think a lot of this is based on the success or the volume that things have showed up on the internet as far as YouTube is concerned. And that's a weird and kind of stupid point of view to look at it, because as I've said before, YouTubers don't have as much influence as they think they do. Most people are probably not going to let YouTube dictate their buying or playing habits. And that being said, that's where Destiny falls. And Destiny has a really healthy community where people enjoy the hell out of that game. But everybody feels like it's done, it's over, because they don't play it. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. The small scope that you are viewing in isn't the whole viewpoint of the situation. So until you start to hear that these games just don't sell at all, that nobody is buying it at a successful rate, you can't say a game is over, because there's so many other elements in play beyond the fact that you don't play it anymore that makes it makes it not as defunct as you think it is. You know what I mean? But anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. As always, hit me up, let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Makers, and I'm out. Deuces.